Hello, welcome, and namaskar, vanakkam, privyat. So, this is another episode of exposing Jaggi Sadhguru Vasudev guy. And again, my disclaimer, if you are in love with him or worship him, whatever you gotta say, and this video is not for you. But if you're really interested in science, and keep watching. And so this is about something that he talked about previously. I hear him saying last couple of decades. It's about tidal force, how tidal force affects the human psychic. So this is not the first time he's talked about it. My PVs, this speech he was giving in IIT Mumbai, and when he talks about this nonsense, how tidal force affects human psyche. And there are students, I don't know who, they are probably students and professor, all of them. They're clapping as if he's giving a logical, factual, scientific reason. Like, that's utter nonsense. Like, this is one of the India's prestigious institution, right? And we always think that only smartest, best of the best get into this institution, and this institution produces the smartest people in the world. So all these stories we heard about it. But I'm watching this and they are just clapping. They are excited and clapping at this nonsense. Now we know that not all people who get into IIT or who graduate of IITs are not smart. They don't even have the understanding of simple basic science. Otherwise, how would you clap to this guy when he says something utterly nonsense? Anyway, let's go. And this question actually starts with how inanimate objects affects us. Then he goes on to talk about tidal force. He never disappoints.
Sir, in the Indian society, when something goes wrong, for let's say someone is not well, so there are three types of people. Ones who go to the hospital, then there are the ones who rush to the temples, and then there are the third ones who rush to the astrologers. So we are actually taught from the beginning that inanimate objects and things around us have the power to control our lives. For example, the this for example, my mother when 2 to 3 years back told me to wear a ring which had the gemstones. I still has it on, have it on because, of course, because that's what mom has said.
You need to take it off, otherwise the boys will think But good luck, you keep it in the pocket. If it's on your finger, they will think you're…
So that's another issue to it. But I really do not understand, like, how can an inanimate object control so much going on in my life or in anybody else's? Or can it really do that, rather?
See, human life is made in such a way, particularly human life. For all the animals, nature has fixed clear-cut path, what they can do, what they cannot do. Their lives happen between two lines. They cannot go below that, they cannot go above that. Within that they live. That's why they look so sure and certain, and they're peaceful. Once their stomach is full, they're all peaceful. Do you see this? Hello? Are you on talking terms with me or no? Do you see all the animals, once their stomach is full, they are peaceful. But human beings are thinking, or they're being taught that peace is the ultimate goal of life.
Okay, so the question is, how does this belief that inanimate objects have any effect on us and human life and human minds? So that's a simple question, right? And he's not answering straight away. He's just talking about a totally different thing, and how animals are just eating and living peacefully. That's like as if he knows what's the purpose of animal, what's in their mind. And like if you're talking about domesticated animals, then yeah, especially the mammals like cow, buffaloes, they eat a lot and regurgitate it at night. So that's why they just sit there, and because they have to digest it. Because when they eat those grass and other plants, they're not actually digesting it. So there's a good portion of the part before sleeping that they have to digest it. So that's why you just sit there and do nothing and regurgitate it. So you if you look at it, you think that's like, oh, it's satisfied with everything and looking peaceful. That's utter nonsense. You don't know what's like a life is like to be an animal. So you're not an animal. All you're doing is anthropomorphizing the animal. Like you're seeing animal through your lens and think that that's what animal thinks it is. No, you have no idea. All you can infer it, how they behave, and you can see it. Just untie those animals and see how they live. Like you domesticate those animals, untie them, and feed them, and you use them. But you cannot just say this is the purpose of the animal life. You're not living in their mind. Even though we can easily see and infer that they don't have a high cognitive skill as humans, but they still have some consciousness and cognitive skills. But still, you don't know what actually going on in there. You don't even know what it's to be like another human being. And how do you know what it's like to be another animal? It's not, there are the millions of species of animals in there. It's not just your domesticated mammals. So so anyway, so instead of he's answering, he just talking a totally different thing. So that's what he always does. So when someone asks a question, he doesn't have an answer, or he just trying to get some time to think about how do we answer it. But meantime, he talk about totally different thing and buying time. Then he comes back and talk about, at least try to pretend to know about the no answer to that question. So that's what he always does.
A buffalo, full stomach, he sits peacefully. And for you, that is the ultimate goal, what a shame. What a buffalo can do with a stomach full of grass or whatever else he eats, you have to hold it as the ultimate goal. Is it not a shame, I'm asking you? But this is being taught like this, peace is the ultimate goal of your life. But
So it has nothing to do with what inanimate things or object has influence on our like. He is saying all humans want to live peacefully, then animals are living peacefully just right after the meal. Then he's disparaging, do you want to live like that? So basically he's buying time, and meanwhile he's just talking nonsense.
coming to more fundamentals, if you're not peaceful today, can you enjoy your dinner today? No. Can you just enjoy walking down the street? Can you enjoy the company of a few people around you? No. If not ecstatic, at least you must be peaceful to enjoy anything in your life. So I'm asking, should it be the first step in your life or the last step in your life? Such people will only rest in peace. Now, do other things have influence on us, particularly
Now he
inanimate
got the question.
objects? The gems and the diamonds and things like that, and also the planets. See, the nature of the planet has a certain influence on the life upon it. You will see on full moon days and new moon days, many animals behave in certain specific ways, simply because they're influenced by it. You know the whole ocean is rising. When ocean, which is millions and millions of tons of water, is able to rise, when 72% of your body is water, you think it won't rise at all? It does.
Oh my gosh, those idiots are clapping. They're clapping. IITs, the smartest people in India, IITs, clapping. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Okay, let me make it clear. If you don't know the even fundamental physics, I'll explain to you, Mr. Smartest IITs, the clapping IITs, okay? Oh gosh. Okay, before we go into the title first, let me teach you the fundamental forces. There are four fundamental forces: gravity, electromagnetic force, strong nuclear force, and weak nuclear force. Okay, the gravity is the weakest of all forces. So, in the order of magnitude, if you say gravity is one magnitude, the other three forces share like 10 to the power of 37 for the electromagnetic, 10 to the power of 32 for weak nuclear force, 10 to the power of 39 for nuclear strong force. That's how strong they are. So the gravity force is totally weak. And I can demonstrate it. Anyone can demonstrate it. I can demonstrate right now how weak the gravity is. See, I have here, it's a coin. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, probably you can see it. I don't know what coin is it. I don't know, it could be Canadian coin or this. I think it's a Dubai Emirate coin. Sometime I got it. Anyway, so you have a coin. I have a magnet here. So I'm sitting here on my couch, and it's in a house, and the house is on Earth. So below me is Earth. That's a 12,000 kilometer wide diameter mass below me, below my hand here, right here. And I have a magnet here, and I have a coin here. So the coin is very tiny, very small coin. You know, the 12,000 kilometer wide mass should be able to pull this coin so easily, right? Gravitational force, right? Because that when moon, like millions of kilometers away, can pull the water, make it tight, the Earth just like a few feet below me should be able to pull this small coin very easily, right? Let's see. What is this? Magnet. So this is a magnet, and the coin just got stuck. It's even hard for me, my hands, to pull it out. Look here. Look here what it is. So this is the magnet, and the coin is attracted to the magnet. And see what's behind, just 2 feet below the coin. There's a 12,000 kilometer wide mass body, almost spherical size body is there pulling this coin, and it couldn't pull it. And this tiny magnet with the electromagnetic force pulled the coin against this Earth. How? See, the gravity is so weak. So the reason I'm trying to explain the comparing electromagnetic force and gravity is your brain, your nervous system, they're all how it works is based on electromagnetic force. So the ions and the neurons, the firings, so they're all electromagnetic force. Okay, and the gravity has very little influence on your body. But if that's the case, then how does moon, like millions of kilometers away, can pull the tons and tons of water and make big tides? For that, you need to understand the tidal force. So say here, say this is my Earth, and you have a moon somewhere here. So Earth pulls the moon. So by Newton's law, gravitational law, moon also pulls on Earth, right? But uh, on the Earth's surface, only 1/3 is land, the rest are water. So all the oceans are connected. The ocean, if it's separated, there would be inland sea or a pool or some isolated body. It's not much, but since all the oceans are connected, there now makes up one big body. So they are like one big mass. So if it's a tiny mass, the gravitational force is going to be not going to be pulled, because the tiny mass sitting on the Earth easily pulled towards the Earth than towards the moon. But when the mass sitting on the surface of the Earth is so big as a water surface, then the moon can pull. So that's what the tidal force is. But you, humans sitting on this Earth, you're tiny, and it's totally not part of the water of the ocean. It's in your body, it's totally separated. And it's all electromagnetic force. So even the Earth cannot pull your water towards the Earth against you, because the gravitational force is so weak. And think about the moon millions of kilometers away from you. It has nothing. It can pull, but it's very minute. It's totally negligible. So that's why the moon is able to pull a large amount of ocean, because that's a big mass, but you are a small mass, and you have your electromagnetic force is stronger than the gravitational force on you by the moon. So, and you can even demonstrate it and take a cup of water, just a cup of water, and go out to the beach on new moon day or full moon day and lay it down. Just look at it, and you see the tides come out, waves and big tides come out, but you won't see any wave or any change in water level on the cup. That's simple as it is. And if you don't know that, like, how did you get into IITs? Oh gosh. Or, okay, granted that most of the Indian school educations are really bad. They don't even teach like simple science. And if you don't know, then you have a physics department, geophysics department, and go and ask your professor and talk to those students. Maybe they'll teach you. They'll tell you how it works. And don't go to this guy and listen to him, and when he says these nonsense and do this clapping. It's so humiliating. Gosh, I feel bad. And you guys clapping. My gosh. So no, the moon, the tidal force has no effect on your psychic and nothing. You know what has a more effect on your body and mind? The things you eat, the electromagnetic force. So say like before you go to bed and after your meal, eat a food like unusually high in salt content. When you eat a high salt content and go on to sleep and see and monitor yourself, how do you feel? Like some people might wake up early, or some people obviously you're going to feel thirsty, but some people like have like a bad dream, nightmares. So that means once your electrolysis is not stable, and then it's going to affect you. So that has more effect than the gravity from moon millions and millions of kilometers away from you. So, this notion that because there's big tides during full moon and new moon, it's not unique to Indian culture or to the local Indian belief. It's all around the world. That's why in the Western culture they have Dragula stories, werewolf stories. It's in all other culture, but and yeah, the people don't go crazy on any of those. There's actually real scientific studies has been done. You cannot go into people's home and see how they behave, but if there's really some psychic effect on human during these days, then you can look at the hospital records, emergency records, and see if there's any change. But there's been thousands of studies conducted. There's no change at all. If there's any change, then all it is due to like full moon. If it's a good weather, people go out, and when there's a lot of people out at night, then they do crazy things. Then if they do crazy stuff, then crazy things happen. That's how they end up in hospital. That's some real reason. Then the moon has pulling their mind, pulling their brain. That's not what's happened. And don't clap, okay? Gosh, it's unbelievable.
I don't know if you're conscious of it, but in India, most people are, not only in India, in anywhere, wherever there are mental asylums and things, they are conscious of it. On full moon days and new moon days, people get exaggerated levels of disturbance in their minds. So people think new moon and full moon will cause madness. No, that's not the truth. If you're very loving, full moon day you will become more loving. If you're very joyful, on a full moon day you will become more joyful. If you're a little crazy, you'll get a little more crazy. Whatever is your quality gets little hyped on that day. So those who are romantic, they want full moon day. Those who want to meditate, they want full moon day. Those who are a little mad, they don't want full moon day. Essentially, it's hyping things up a little bit. Of course, today there is another kind of textbook science which is going on, which doesn't observe anything except what happens in the laboratory. These people are going on saying, this is all rubbish, this, that. No, if you pay attention to your own body, you will know, without looking up, without looking at the calendar, you will know when is full moon day, when is new moon day, by yourself, simply if you pay sufficient attention to your own system, because it's visible in your system. Certain behavior is there. But with a human being, the problem is…
Oh my gosh, I can't listen to this anymore. No, there's no such thing. Like you can look at your body, just go and lock up yourself in somewhere for like years, and just get rid of all your calendar and everything, and just lock up in your room and stay away from the outside world, and you wouldn't know whether it's a new moon or a full moon. It's an idiot. All you have to look up is you have to look up at your body. I climbed mountains. There's a mountain, the volcano peak in South America, Ecuador. It's called Chimborazo. So that's only 20,600 feet. I think it's 6,300, 400 meters. So, but because that's in equator, it's bulged out. So if you stand on the top of the peak, that's farthest from the center of the earth. So if you are here, because the Everest is way up there, and even though Everest is 29,000 feet, and that is not the farthest point from the center of the earth. So that peak, Chimborazo, that's the farthest point from the center of the earth. And if that's the farthest point from the center of earth, then that's the closest to the sun and moon. So I climbed it and I spent a night there at the peak. Then I never felt any crazy. It's just normal day. This guy never climbed, probably hiked more than 20 or 15,000 foot from the sea level. But yeah, what he says is just crazy. It's stupid. It's nonsense. And there's nothing to do with reality. And by the way, don't call yourself IIT and say, "Oh, I went to this guy lecture and I loved it and I clapped it." That's just humiliating. Oh my gosh, it's very frustrating. Is this what Indian IITs gone into? Maybe instead of you listening to this guy and learning all these spiritual management crap and course, just go on sit in one of the physics courses they teach in your same in your department or in your IIT campus. You'll learn more than spending time listening to this guy. Don't waste your time. It's total nonsense.